This February is a time of deep sorrow for us, for all the people of Khojaly. Then they entered the town. We fled under a bridge, through the space between two rivers. That winter was especially harsh. It was a terrible situation. We climbed through the forest, but the snow was relentless. The voices of elderly women, children and men, everyone supporting and helping each other as we move forward. As we moved toward Garagaya, the massacre intensified.
A city erased in one night. Khojaly, once one of the largest towns in Karabakh, saw its existence come to a brutal end on the night of 25 February 1992. Armenian armed forces, supported by the 366 Motorized Rifle Regiment, surrounded the town. As residents fled into the forests and fields seeking safety, the freezing winter and relentless gunfire turned their escape into a massacre. In the aftermath of the attack, 613 Azerbaijanis lost their lives, including 106 women, 63 children, and 70 elderly people. Thousands suffered severe injuries, hundreds were taken hostage, and many remain missing to this day. The events in Khojaly are not just a dark chapter in Azerbaijan's history. Under international law, such acts constitute war crimes and crimes against humanity.
Those days are unforgettable. I left in January. From 1988 to 1992, we suffered immensely. That night was tragic. I lost 10 family members. I still don't know the fate of 4 of them: my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, my son, my husband. Today, I am grateful to be back in my own home, in my own yard. Thank God, as well as our neighbors. It is home for all of us. 14 of my family members were martyred. The homeland is more precious than anything. They died for their homeland.
According to the 1948 Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of Genocide, genocide is defined as acts committed with the intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnic, racial or religious group. The Khojaly massacre meets these criteria. Yet, decades later, the world has still not fully recognized this atrocity.
What happened in Khojaly is a series of crimes, heinous crimes, both under international law and under national law. And what makes them specific is that they were committed within the context of armed conflict. So they qualify both as war crimes and crimes against humanity. So above all, the massacre in Khojaly, there is a reason to say that there was a genocide. If you analyze those who were killed, the bodies, which there are many evidences are collected, they were elderly people, children, many of whom were infants, women, some of whom were evidently pregnant. So that makes those crimes are even more aggravated factors.
This was not the first such crime, nor would it be the last. History has repeatedly witnessed such tragedies. In the sweltering days of July 1995, The town of Srebrenica in Bosnia and Herzegovina became the site of one of Europe's darkest tragedies. On 11 July, Bosnian Serb forces overran the UN-designated safe zone. In the days that followed, more than 8,000 Bosnian Muslim men and boys were systematically executed.
These two cities should be talked about a lot of more and at the international level. We must do effort to present the world what happened in Hojali, what happened in Srebrenica. I think Azerbaijan and Bosnia and Herzegovina can together to speak about this situation, and because I think Azerbaijan and Bosnia and Herzegovina are two friendly countries. Bosnia and Herzegovina government, if you know, in the past support resolution of Hojali. Also, I hope that will do Azerbaijan, and that is our opportunity to say the world what happened in our city and our countries.
Between April and July 1994, Rwanda witnessed one of the most brutal genocides in modern history. Hutu extremists launched a campaign of mass murder, targeting the Tutsi minority and moderate Hutus. In just 100 days, around 800,000 people were slaughtered.
I, like many others, fled when the war started in Rwanda. Many Rwandans escaped to Bukavu and stayed there for a long time. We welcomed them as our brothers because we had lived with Rwandans for a long time. Some of us, when we were children, believed we were all one people in Congo. Later, we realized that was not entirely true, and differences existed. When the Rwandans arrived, we received them and they stayed with us.
The violence erupted on 6 April 1994, following the downing of Rwandan President Juvenal Habyarimana's plane. Almost immediately, coordinated attacks began, with neighbors turning against one another. Armed with machetes, clubs, and firearms, perpetrators carried out massacres in churches, schools, and villages. Years later, in 2019, French President Emmanuel Macron acknowledged France's role in the genocide, and a 2021 Commission report confirmed serious and significant responsibility. However, for many survivors, justice remains elusive. The Holocaust remains the most harrowing chapter of the 20th century. Carried out by Nazi Germany, it resulted in the systematic extermination of 6 million Jews, along with millions of other victims, including Poles, Romani people, disabled individuals, and political dissidents. The genocide began with Adolf Hitler's rise to power in 1933. With the ideology of racial purity at its core, the Nazi regime implemented laws stripping Jews of their rights, escalating to mass violence during Kristallnacht in 1938.
My mother is Rivka. She's the daughter of this Mordechai, his 7 brothers and sisters were killed during the Holocaust. So this, one side of the family from my mother's side. From my father's side also, unfortunately, we lost a lot of relatives during the war, but his siblings and his parents, they were already in Israel, so they were safe. But my mother's side, from her father, that's the story of their family. So obviously that's one of the, I would say, the most tragic event or time of the Jewish people, especially the Ashkenazi Jewish community, the European Jewish community, where more than 35% of the community was killed in Europe.
While time moves forward, the cities destroyed by war are rebuilt. The memory of these tragedies endures. Khojaly is no exception. A place once marked by loss and devastation is being revived, its residents returning, new homes rising. But the pain of that night still lingers in every stone, in every street.
1940, 1941, 1992. History repeats itself and the world stays silent. 613 people were massacred in Khojaly in Azerbaijan. More than 8,000 in Srebrenica. Nearly 1 million in Rwanda. Every time we say, never again. Yet it happens again and again. Genocides don't happen only at the hands of killers, but also through the silence of the world. The real question is, will we stay silent this time? Forgetting means accepting. Let's not forget.